Living well is a skill. Aristotle's case for moral excellence. When Aristotle asks what the purpose of life is, he is not asking a private or emotional question. He is asking a public and practical one. He wants to know what kind of life is worthy of a human being and how such a life can actually be lived. Aristotle begins by observing that every action aims at some good. Some things we do for the sake of something else, but eventually we must arrive at something we desire for its own sake. Aristotle argues that this highest good is what he calls happiness, understood not as a feeling, but as human flourishing. He says, quote, "Happiness is the activity of the soul in accordance with virtue." End quote. This kind of happiness is not about momentary pleasure. It is about living well over a whole life. A happy person, for Aristotle, is someone whose actions, character, and reasoning consistently reflect excellence. To explain this, Aristotle asks what the distinctive function of a human being is. Plants grow, animals feel and move. What humans uniquely do is reason. Therefore, the good human life consists in rational activity carried out well, carried out virtuously. Virtue, for Aristotle, means excellence of character. Moral virtues are stable dispositions that shape how we feel, desire, and act. Courage is not recklessness or fearfulness, but the mean between them. Generosity is not wastefulness or stinginess, but the right use of resources for good ends. And these virtues are not inborn. Aristotle emphasizes that we become virtuous through habit. By doing just things, we become just. By practicing temperance, we become temperate. Character is formed slowly through repeated action, long before abstract moral reasoning enters the picture. But virtue alone is not enough. Aristotle insists that we also need practical wisdom, the ability to see what is appropriate in particular situations. Practical wisdom is not rule following, it is judgment. Life does not present us with neat categories, and moral excellence requires discernment shaped by experience. This is why Aristotle warns us not to expect moral life to have mathematical precision. Ethics deals with human affairs, which are variable and complex. What we need is not certainty, but cultivated perception. Aristotle also insists that moral life is social. Human beings flourish in community. Friendship, he says, is one of life's greatest goods. The highest friendships are those grounded in shared virtue, where each person helps the other become better. In this way, friendship becomes a moral practice. Likewise, political life exists not merely for survival, but for living well. Laws and institutions shape character over time. A society that neglects moral formation will eventually undermine itself. At the same time, Aristotle does not deny responsibility. Even though character is shaped by upbringing and habit, we remain accountable because character itself is formed through repeated choices. We are not prisoners of fate, but neither are we self-made in isolation. So what is the purpose of life, according to Aristotle? It is not pleasure, success, or self-expression. It is the cultivation of excellence, becoming the kind of person for whom acting well is natural, stable, and fulfilling. Aristotle offers no shortcuts. Moral life is a craft, learned through practice, sustained by community, and guided by reason. But he offers something rare, a vision of human life in which meaning, morality, and happiness are not rivals, but partners. Living well is a skill, Aristotle's case for moral excellence.